1.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي أمر بالذكر وأخبر أن الذكر تنفع المؤمنين. ثم الصلاة والسلام على أفضل الرجل من قام بالذكر، صلوات الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعه واستنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين وبعد. Indeed, viewers, we thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for yet another opportunity to share with you the words of Allah. And I pray in His name, Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdata min lisani yafqahu qawli. Allahumma tahhir qalbi min al-nifaq wa amali min al-riya wa lisani min al-kadhib. La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inna kunna min al-zalimin. We've selected or elected to discuss a very crucial topic, especially in a month like this. Several scholars have come to sit in to discuss with you various topics with respect to the month of Ramadan. And I shudder to believe we've learned just enough, except to see that whenever there is an opportunity to add, we add more to blessings. And I'm here as your colleague student, not a scholar, a student to share with you my journey so far in the pursuit of knowledge. And like I said, I've elected to discuss with you dhikr, that is remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we can say in sum that every other thing we have been doing over the month is all but zikr. So we'll try to at least take us through what zikr exactly is, what are the forms of it, how do we go about it, and what are the fruits of it. And I believe, inshallah, at the end of the day, we're able to draw useful lessons from today's encounter. So we'll say zikr. Zikr as a word is first and foremost an Arabic construct before it is an Islamic, a subject matter of Islamic jurisprudence. So linguistically, we can say when we talk about zikr, we're simply talking about trying to protect something or to remember something. That is, when you commit something into memory, you are capable of remembering it. In terms of linguistic positioning, we could just look at zikr to be remembrance or an attempt to protect something. You can protect it by keeping it in memory. But jurisprudentially, when we talk about zikr, بمعنى الذكر العبد لربه عز وجل. If a man or woman attempts at remembering about his Lord and his Lordship, then you are simply engaged in an act of zikr. So be it by way of mouth that you are going to talk about things with respect to the pedigree of Allah, His Zat, or the signs of Allah, His Sifat, or the wonders of Allah, His actions, or all in all, if it has to do with requesting from Allah. So even when you are requesting for favors from Allah by way of dua, that is also zikr. So it involves a wide spectrum of activities that can be qualified to be referred to as zikr. And it is a matter that we have been called upon to do. Like we said from our initial remarks, zikr is something that Allah calls on us to do is put it categorically in the Holy Quran, chapter 51, verse 55, that وَذَكِّرْ فَإِنَّ الذِّكْرَ تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And remember your Lord, but remembrance of Allah, for remembrance of Allah is beneficial to the believing ones. If you call yourself a believer, if you believe you are truly a believer, then certainly the response to the call of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a matter of necessity. It's a matter of compulsion. You have no other alternative except to respond to the call of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that is to do zikr. And there are various ways we can do zikr. There are numerous of them. We can do zikr by way of tahleel, simply saying La ilaha illallah. That is to say, there is no object worthy of worship except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we can engage in dhikr, remembering Allah by saying La ilaha illallah. We could also be engaged in at-tahmid, trying to show appreciation to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the favors that He has done you. If you want to count the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you cannot attempt to make a number at it. The favor of good health, the favor of sound mind, the favor of the opportunity to walk, the favor of the opportunity to see, the favor of the opportunity to listen and understand, and overall, the favor of Islam. وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا. If you were to make an attempt to enumerate the bounties of Allah, the blessings of Allah on your life and entire humanity, you cannot attempt to give a number to account in figurative terms. So necessarily, you ought to be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the favors that He has bestowed upon you. And that act of showing appreciation for the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also a form of zikr, remembrance of Allah. We can equally say takbir, to say Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allah is great, is also a form of worship. Or by simply requesting for your needs from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, dua, it's a form of zikr. Or to say reciting the Holy Quran is a form of zikr. In essence, when we say zikr, it is not exclusive of probably laying a material of whose relevance is a subject of dispute, or trying to sit together to say whatever you want to say. Zikr can be done either in group or at the individual level. There are other areas for us as students of knowledge we cannot be able to delve in. So, but when it comes to, say, zikr, you don't necessarily have to probably lay some specific materials or cloths and to sit around it, and that will qualify as zikr. Zikr is more than that. And every other thing we do in trying to seek the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is in fact zikr. Maybe I'm not in the best position to be able to determine whether it is permissible to lay some cloth, whether white or brown, to be able to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is for the scholars. But what I can tell you is that zikr has a wider spectrum, and then it includes, like we said, at-tahleel, saying La ilaha illallah, whether what you call it, silently or loudly. It can include at-tahmid, whether by your actions or deeds or by word of mouth. You can be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His favors. And when you make enough time to sit around and recite the Holy Quran, that is also dhikr. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that dhikr is beneficial to the believers. Like what we are doing now is also dhikr. When the ulama sit before us to remember us about the ways and wonders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is zikr. And Allah is telling you it is beneficial to the believing men and women. And then zikr, as we have said, is one issue that has been brought forth. It's a divine commandment. Like I said, when Allah decrees, when Allah directs, we have no any other alternative except to live or go by His directives. And the Prophet ﷺ, in his lifetime, it was a complete school for what entails zikr. And when a questioner questions the wife, our beloved mother, Aisha radiallahu anha, about the character of the Prophet sallallahu our mother responded categorically by saying that his entire character was about the Holy Quran. And the epistle of zikr is all but engulfed in the Holy Quran. So I shudder to call you, I humbly appeal to you, the listener and myself, that the matter of zikr is a matter of prophetic tradition. If we truly love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if we truly love His messenger, then we have no alternative except to constantly engage ourselves in zikr. Either you say Subhanallah, Walhamdulillah, Wa la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar. These are various forms of zikr that we can involve in. And the Prophet sallam, in a hadith related, and Jabir ibn Abdullah radiallahu anhuma, قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول أفضل الذكر لا إله إلا الله وأفضل الدعاء الحمد لله. That the best of zikr, the best of remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Remember I told you zikr, any time you attempt zikr, you are responding to a divine call. In various chapters of the Holy Quran, like we said, وَذَكِّرْ فَإِنَّ الذِّكْرَ تَنفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. In other places, we see the Quran state that وَاذْكُرْ رَبَّكَ حَتَّى يَأْتِيَكَ الْيَقِينُ, that you should continue to engage yourself in the remembrance of Allah, in the worship of Allah, in the zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, until your soul is taken away from you. In other epistles, for instance, Quran chapter 73, verse 8, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that وَاذْكُرْ رَبَّكَ وَتَبَتَّلْ إِلَيْهِ تَبْتِيلًا, that you should remember of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Remember Him constantly and then try to go back to Him in fullness, in obedience. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also tells us in Quran chapter 76, verse 25, وَاذْكُرْ رَبَّكَ بُكْرَةً وَأَصِيلًا, that you should remember your Lord. Engage yourself in zikr constantly, whether in the early hours of the day or in the darkest portions of the night. So at every point in time, you can do zikr. And it's no specific, you don't need to go to a masjid to do zikr. Everywhere it is possible to do zikr. So for instance, you could do zikr either standing, you could do zikr either prostrating, you could do zikr either reclining, or you could do zikr even if you are lying down. So there are various forms that, or various positions that we can be and be able to do zikr. Hatta if you are about to meet with your legally married partner, at that point in time, when you are just about going into a divine act, you can actually engage yourself in zikr. That is why the Prophet ﷺ prescribed for us specific utterances we have to make before our engagement with our partners, especially when responding to nature's biological call. At that point, even at that point, zikr is permissible. And the Prophet ﷺ has taught us the language by which we can do zikr at that point in time. That is to pray against the infiltration of the accursed creature of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is shaitan. So even at that point in time, you are still permitted to do zikr. So we can do zikr in various shapes, in various forms, and at least in as much as we can. Remember, when it comes to doing good deeds, there is no a specific limit to which you can go. You go according to your ability. But when it comes to sin, you are told to refrain completely. I said completely from it. And when it comes to issue with respect to worship, then you are told to actually do it to the best of your ability. Like I was saying, in the Holy Quran, Allah tells us when He was trying to explain in Quran chapter 3, verse 191, earlier in verse 190, Allah attempts to make a point, and He ended by saying that whatever He said, the message is delivering is to the Ulul Albab, that is the people of sound judgment. And when He said that, He attempted to explain to you who are the people of sound judgment, who are the Ulul Albab. And then He explains by stating that Alladina yaskuruna Allah. Wow, it tells you you cannot be of sound judgment, you cannot be of sound conscience if your conscience doesn't lead you to remembering of Allah, to the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah is explaining to you who are Ulul Albab, who are the people of sound judgment. The people of sound judgment are those alladhina yazkuruna Allah qiyaman wa qu'udan wa ala junubihim. The people of sound judgment are those category of people who remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether standing, whether prostrating, whether lying down, or even when reclining or lying down. At every given opportunity, they remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who are you? Are you part of the Ulul Albab? Are you that person who at every given opportunity you want to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Even when you wake up, you want to give glory and thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving you yet another day. Even when you go back to sleep, you want to entrust your affairs in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by reciting a couple of verses Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through His messenger ordered us to do, either by reciting the Surah Al-Ikhlas, the Ma'uzatain, and the likes. Do you spare time at your sleeping hour to say these things? If you do that, Allah classifies you as part of the Ulil Albab. If you have not been doing that, I remind you, my brother, my sister, take every opportunity of your life to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether in torment or in enjoyment. Whatever the situation is, you have to be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is why the Prophet used to say, Alhamdulillah ala kulli hal. He is ever grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no matter the circumstance, whether bitterness or in enjoyment. Glory is always to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I join myself to constantly engage ourselves in the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. First and foremost, when you do that, it's a response to a divine call, and you are going to be rewarded for that. And secondly, when you do that, it's a response to prophetic teaching as called upon us or as advised by Prophet ﷺ through his sahabas and his well-wishers, and through our ulama. So first and foremost, doing zikr means you are categorically responding to Allah's call and you become part of the party of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you do zikr, secondly, you are living by the dictates, the life of the Prophet ﷺ, and he's a worthy example that you can depend on as a human and as a believer in the faith of the Islamic religion. And there are samarats, there are benefits, there are fruits of zikr. In fact, that is to say, there is a favor that you earn, or there is an outcome that you get when you engage yourself in zikr. One of such outcomes is that you are going to get a settled heart. You are going to get a satisfied heart. You are going to get a conscientized mind. In fact, your life is going to be at ease. You'll be free from any form of depression. Depression sets in when the heart is preoccupied by the toils of the worldly life and its gains. But when you constantly engage yourself in zikr, you are recalibrating your heart from the love of the world and its worldly things to the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the hope for His mercy on the day of recompense. And when you gradually recalibrate your heart to that stature, it gets to a point that the heart gets preoccupied by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and when it is preoccupied by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or with the thoughts of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you are free from all forms of depression. You are free from all forms of anguish. You are free from the burden of thoughts of worldly life. Come to think of it, Allah tells us in the Holy Quran that alladhina amanu wa tatma'innu qulubuhum bi dhikrillah. So listen here, alladhina amanu, those who believe, wa tatma'innu qulubuhum bi dhikrillah, and preoccupies, entangles their hearts, gets their hearts involved, satisfied with their hearts with the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ala bi dhikrillahi tatma'innul qulub. Certainly, remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a caveat, it's a precondition for attaining a satisfied heart, a settled heart, a heart free of depression, a mind free of wonders and thoughts of needless stuff about the world and its affairs. So when you preoccupy your heart with the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is going to recalibrate it towards the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the thoughts about the hereafter. And when you get into that situation, your heart rests. It will engage in a perpetual rest and an everlasting rest. You would continue to drive an everlasting satisfaction. There is no material that can grant you satisfaction as far as this world is concerned, except by the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you are seeking for happiness, if you are seeking for enjoyment in life, I call you to return back to your Lord and constantly engage yourself in the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for that is the only source you can gain satisfaction in this world and in the hereafter. Please, this is a response to a divine call, especially in the months like we are in, the month of Ramadan. That is the best of all months across the year. And there is an opportunity for you to constantly engage yourself in dhikr. And Allah tells us that there is a particular night, especially in this period, that when you are lucky and you do zikr around that particular moment or time, it will be like you have been doing zikr for 83 years and some months, maybe approximately 83 years and some 4 months. So that is the importance of it. So even if you are not doing, please intensify your dhikr in these last 10 days of Ramadan, because when you get the opportunity of interacting or you get the privilege of experiencing that Laylatul Qadr that our scholars spoke about on this platform, you are going to be recorded 83 years, 4 months of remembrance or zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is not the time to sleep. This is the time to worship, to do more zikr and sleep less. And when you get the opportunity to earn the favor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on Laylatul Qadr, in fact, you are going to earn reward that is equivalent to a dhikr of 83 years, 4 months. هذا ما أقول لكم أفوض أمري إلى الله إن الله بصير بالعباد والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.